Hey guys, welcome to Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast. I am excited today because I get to interview this amazing guy who has a podcast called Screw the Commute podcast. And I wanted to be on that show because, being an entrepreneur, I remember, or being employed at one point, I remember commuting back and forth from Chicago to the suburbs to work for JP Morgan Chase. And then they laid me off because, they moved our job to overseas. But driving an hour and a half to work and saying, there's got to be something better than this. And that kind of thinking time, that hour and a half, 3 hours a day when we were first married, really led me into hopefully starting multiple businesses. So Tom is like the OG of marketing, right? He has been around for a long time when it comes to this industry. Again, he does Screw the Commute podcast. He has been in so many places. I don't know if you remember, we had Perry Marshall on previously, and he's like been around since Helm, right? So he's an internet and digital marketer, number one pro speaking in entrepreneurship. He really wants to help people not just make it through life, but really thrive. Right? He's like the guy next door, right? So he also, this is the crazy thing, he has a documentary that he created. So this is amazing. Like having somebody who has actually done a documentary on our show is awesome. So welcome, Tom. I can't wait for you to help us help others screw the commute.
Yeah, no, great to be on, Brandon. Yeah, no, I didn't actually create the documentary. Hollywood came to me and asked me to be the feature of their documentary, and I was thinking, man, I thought you had to be dead before they got a documentary about you, but apparently not. Yeah, the producer has done 38 documentaries about Olympic athletes and all kinds of luminaries, and I was very humbled that she chose me as the American entrepreneur.
Wow. Well, hey, even if you didn't create it and do all that, to be at a place where somebody says, "Hey, I want to do a movie around you," that's
Yeah,
pretty.
it's pretty good. And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I came from a comic background, and I actually did a fundraiser one time for a
Mhm.
lady, and her husband had created the original movie called The Blob. I think it was back in the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saved this lady's organization from going bankrupt. And she said, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you?" I said, "I don't care what you do. If you do a remake of The Blob, I want to be in it somehow. I don't care. I'll be the Blob. I'll be anything. And then I'll milk that the rest of my life that I was in the Blob movie." So I don't know which is more prestigious, the American Entrepreneur or the Blob.
So if I look you up, are you going to be an IMDb for the Blob or something then?
Well, if they do the remake, they've been trying to sell
Oh,
the remake for a while. Yeah, so I said whenever they do, I want to be in it. But
yeah.
I am in IMDb because I used to do TV commercials and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got the radio voice going, so
Not the face. Yeah, I got the face for radio. That's what they say.
that's me too. I feel like doing podcasts and now doing YouTube. I'm like, I don't know if I'm good at this whole thing. Um, you know. Anyway, so how did you get started in this? Apparently, you've never worked a day in your life, really. For
Well, no. Here's the thing. You know this. An entrepreneur will work 18 hours a day to get out of work in 8 hours a day for somebody else. So
right, right.
yeah. So no,
So
I've been doing stuff ever since I was 10 years old, doing little kid hustles, side hustles. I sold my first used car when I was 15 years old and did not even have a learner's permit. So I've always been entrepreneurial. My dad came from Syria on a cattle boat in the early 1900s, and he put the first electric light bulb in Carnegie, Pennsylvania, and he had his own electrical contracting firm by the time he was 13. all based on batteries because there was no electrical grid. so I was surrounded by entrepreneurism my whole life, and and long before the internet came along, I was doing entrepreneurial things for sure.
Well, and they didn't call it entrepreneur back then either. They were like, oh, just
making money.
Yeah. I
Making money.
remember my grandmother, and that's kind of where we started with our business, Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, just thinking about how money flows, and they were savers versus investors, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was told she wanted a new bedroom set or living room set, and asked her husband, "Can we get this?" And he's like, "No, we don't have it." And he's like, "Well, figure out a way you can give it." So she started doing embroidery, in her bedroom set, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's an entrepreneur right there. She created saw a need, created something that she had skills in, and made money. And then, in essence, bought the thing she wanted.
That's still to this day. Occasionally I'm in the car driving somewhere with an employee or something, and they say, "Boy, I want to get something, but I can't afford it." I'm saying, "No wonder you're working for me." But but then I say, no, don't think of it that way. Think about, what do I have to do to afford it?
Yeah.
That's a whole different mindset. So yeah, I encourage them all. In fact, we have twice a week meetings, and each meeting ends with, how did they improve themselves this week?
Yeah.
Because I don't try to hold people back. I want them doing things to improve that's outside of work, whatever it is. I don't care, as long as they're moving forward.
Well, and I went to a group, a real estate investor group, and they had this thing called haves and wants. And they shared, what do you have and what do you need? What do you want? And it's interesting how we forget about our haves. What are we gifted at? What are we strong at? That just comes natural to us, that somebody else is looking for, and connecting those two. And then you want something that they have.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Now, I take it a step further in that, because I get on stage. I've done 3,000 speeches in 12 countries, all over the place. And I've been on stage with hundreds and hundreds of people. And sometimes I just get sick of it. So they're saying, only do what you're good at, delegate everything. And I'm thinking, if what you're good at is putting you in the poorhouse, maybe you should rethink that and get some skills. So I'm a continuous learner. It's the Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement, continuous learning. And so I'm always improving my skill levels. It's one of the reasons I became a multimillionaire, because I don't just throw money at things that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I usually figure out how to do it myself, and then decide if it's not worth my time to do it, and then farm it out. And here's a thing, I forget where I heard this. This is not my personal thing, but whenever you're outsourcing something, if you use the phrase, your folks should write this down, this job should be easy for somebody that knows what they're doing. All right, so this is a great one, greatest phrase. I don't know where I got it. It was a long time ago. But the thing is, it implies that you know what's going on, and you won't get rooked by being overcharged. Say, yeah. So that's a beautiful phrase. It's saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. This job should be easy for somebody that knows what they're doing.
I'm putting this in the thing. This is why we use StreamYard, because I can do something like this.
I use StreamYard also. It's I don't use it for my podcast, but yeah, for live events and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally, guys, write this down. And this is what I heard from you, is you got to know how to do it first. This is
you have to understand it, because I get so many people, Brandon, coming to me. They just say, I just want somebody to do it for me. And what I'm thinking is, all right, you should put a big target on yourself, like a shooting gallery, and walk back and forth. Web designer, ding. Programmer, ding. They're going to just shoot you, because they know in 2 seconds they can tell you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
But they know, everybody says, well, I know I need this, I know I need that, but they have no clue how long it should take or how much it should cost. So
Yep.
you can create world-class websites, and I have done it hundreds of times for $150.
Yeah.
WordPress is the gold standard for the engine, and it's free. And then you have to have a responsive theme. Responsive means it looks good on cell phones and tablets
Yeah.
automatically. And that could be $150 for that. Now you have a world-class, and maybe you get some custom graphics off of places like Fiverr, FIVERR.com, or 99 Designs or something. And then now you have a world-class website for less than $200 for sure. You could
Yeah.
have a membership site for less than $300 and have recurring income coming in.
Yeah.
So, but if you went out in the open market and just says, yeah, I want a membership site and I want it to do this and I want some custom graphics, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000,
Yeah.
it should be $300.
Well, and I think that's, again, as I've been down that and said, I need this, and you hire marketers or things like that. And I'm like, oh, what did I just pay all this money for?
Yeah, exactly.
And realizing some of it's just within us, and having the team around you to help you. And then I've thought a lot about this from the money perspective. We want to then outsource the accounting CFO role because we don't like numbers. I'm like, well, no, you got to at least have a good understanding of your numbers. So, one, if you're overpaying for something,
Mm-hmm.
and two, if something's working, right? And too many people are like, well, I'm not good at numbers. I just like to make money. I'm like, well, there's two things as a business owner. You got to make a lot of money and you got to keep a lot of money. And there are two different kind of mindsets. And if you're not good at budgeting, at least know how to read a P&L statement. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I know that I'm concentrating now with myself and my students. I mean, literally for the last 22 years on digital products because they're 97% gross profit.
Yep.
When I think back of your time in the coffee shop
Yep.
and my time at the nightclub and pizza shop, and the profit margins were, even with selling booze, it's still, I had enormous building, enormous mortgage, and the restaurant profits were very thin. And then I'd go out to the dumpster and there'd be a case of cheese out there because one employee took it out there and was going to pick it up and steal it on the way home. so the digital stuff is just beautifully. So you can keep your costs low, your risk is extremely low, but you can get as much or more for digital products without all the overhead stuff, without shipping and post office and all that crap.
So did you ever hear when you were in the bar scene and doing that? Yeah, but it's okay that you don't get paid and all of that because you love what you're doing. It's the pay that you're getting. Did you ever hear that?
Well, that's perfectly fine if you're doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to tell them today about making your hobbies tax deductible too. But if you're just doing it as a legacy project or benevolent project, awesome, beautiful. I mean, I've raised enormous amounts of money for homeless kids and animals and all kinds of people, and that's great. But I wouldn't be able to do that had I not made a load of money doing what I do. See. So one of the saddest things, Brandon, is people come up to me at speeches and they have these big ideas of how they want to help the world, but they refuse to market. And so these authors, they love to write, but they won't sell anything. So their writing is like goes into a black hole with crickets chirping. So you've got to balance creating stuff people want, reasonable price. I actually wrote one of my 25 books is called The One Sentence Business Plan. And here's another thing you can write down. All right. If every company on earth would just live by this, they would save $1 million on consulting fees for a mission statement that none of their employees ever even heard of. So the One Sentence Business Plan. I create quality products that people actually want at a reasonable price, and I service the customer after the sale. That's it.
Yeah.
Create quality products that people actually want at a reasonable price, and I service the customer after the sale. I've been living that since I'm 10 years old, doing side hustles as a kid. Right? And
That's
I
uh,
didn't spend $1 million on a consultant to teach me
that's so true. I'm putting this in here.
That's pretty long. I don't know if it'll fit in the lower third.
I'm probably out. I know I have some typos. Just so you know, reasonable is spelled wrong. Please don't tell me that it's spelled wrong.
Oh, is. Oh, you don't want to do that. Clinton did that a long time ago about the word is.
Yeah,
What's the meaning of is.
yeah, oh, yeah. Well, here
I,
we go. Read that. Write that down. Check the spelling.
I
But
create quality products people actually want at a reasonable price, and I service the customer after the
yeah,
sale. But
yeah,
that's the idea. If you just get the idea, it doesn't matter if it's exact words. But if you just do those things, you'll have a successful business and live a great lifestyle, and people won't be chasing you around suing you. And there's just
yeah,
all
right.
kinds of good things.
Well, and I think like in this digital world, like in all of this, like I'm in the finance world, and I'm like, man, what I do and is amazing for people. And then the servicing after, I reach out to them every six
Yeah.
months, check in, make sure they're doing okay. How's life? How's the kids? You know, are we on track? Are we moving? Whatever. And I think that we forget all of that. And we say, well, I made the sell.
Yeah,
No,
let's go get another customer. No,
yeah,
you got to take care of the ones you got. That's actually called, there's a name for it called churn.
yeah,
This is when you get a customer, but they leave, or if you're in a membership site, they stay for 2 months and then quit because that's churn. They're moving away because you didn't keep the value there for them. You just went after a new customer, and it costs way more to get a new customer than it is to take care of the ones you got.
yeah.
Hey, Brandon, I'd love to tell them about making your hobbies tax deductible, since this is
Oh yeah, yeah.
this
Well,
is a
let's go there. So
this is a wealth and wisdom
yeah, how
show.
do
Well,
you make your hobbies tax deductible? There you go. That's a great.
well, first of all, the preface is that I'm not an attorney or an accountant, but I have had hundreds of them in my audiences and in my programs over the years. Every one of them says, absolutely, this is how it works. You spend money on something. If it
Mhm.
brings money back, that's a business. And I mean, in the U.S., all you have to do is file a Schedule C at the end of the year. You don't have to start a corporation or an LLC or do all kinds of risky things off the bat. You
Yeah.
just, you know. So here's the thing. You can. I mentioned earlier about creating a world-class website for very cheap,
Mhm.
but this applies to any hobbies you have or any family interests you have, like camping, or maybe your kids are in soccer, or you love golf or archery, or what did you say, embroidery a minute ago, or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So the idea is you create a website based around that particular, whatever it is, hobby or family interest, and then you can create a product,
Mhm.
which people say, oh, I don't know how to create product. Okay, let's forget that for a second. You can do an affiliate product, which means somebody else has created a product. Let's pick camping or something, about camping,
Yep.
and you promote it and talk about it and write about it on your website, blog, whatever. And then if they click through and buy that from the other person, you get a commission. You are now in business. And now, besides the money you're making from the commission, you have an array of tax deductions available to you as a small business owner. And so, of course, check with your accountant, CPA, and you can't spend thousands on your business and then bring in 2 cents, because the IRS will call it a hobby and disavow your deductions. So
Yep.
you have to actually try to make some money. But the beauty about being in business, you don't have to be any good at it. Right? Most businesses don't make a nickel for years. In fact, most of them go out of business in a couple of years. And there were some statistics on your website about that, about the very few only last a couple of years and all that.
Yeah.
So and if you don't think I walk my talk, so I have the dubious distinction of being the largest person ever to create and star in a tennis training video, because I'm a tennis nut. It's called Fatso Tennis. You can actually go to fatsotennis.com and see the trailer of the video I created where I'm playing tennis and eating pizza at the same time.
Right. Oh, that's fun. I'm gonna look it up.
Fatsotennis.com. Yeah, I got the idea because I'm a tennis nut and everything's expensive. My ball machine is $1,800. The rackets are a couple $100. And guess what? At the tennis club, Rafael Nadal is not there. Roger Federer is not there. Maria Sharapova is not there. It's a bunch of fat butts like me trying to beat the younger kids and run them to death before I drop in. So it's a 2 DVD set that I created, and part of it is funny, and part of it is all the angles of the court to make the other guy run like crazy without you running like crazy, and on all the and some of the gadgets are just hysterical, like like a tennis racket, you have the head where you hit the ball, and then this is the butt that's called where you hold the handle. Well, there's a suction cup you can put on the bottom of the butt so that you don't have to bend over to pick the ball up. You can just push it down on the ball. So there's all kinds of stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, it sells great, and it's funny, but it's real, but it makes all my tennis stuff tax deductible because I got to go to California to interview a bunch of tennis big shot tennis coaches and all this stuff. So that's one example. Another example is I have a site called Brutal Self-Defense. Now, I was in the nightclub business. Well, I happened to take over a biker bar and turn it into a nice pizza shop and big nightclub. It was the second biggest nightclub in the state. And I don't know, Brandon, call me crazy. Those bikers just didn't appreciate my efforts.
And so, they like pizza?
Oh, they might have liked pizza, but I actually was throwing a pizza at one of the bikers that was trying to kill me and trying to scald him with the pizza. I mean, so I was in gunfights, knife fights, over 100 violent encounters. They shot my car up with shotgun blasts. I mean, so I had been a martial artist, but there was no art to this. This was real stuff, so I kind of kept it under my hat for years because I like the element of surprise. I'm a nice person. I don't get any trouble, no trouble. But if you bring trouble to me, it's probably not going to be a good day for you. Yeah. So I finally, when I saw all this violence happening in the United States, I said, I got to help people be more aware and teach them what to do and how to stay out of trouble. And so I did a website, Brutal Self-Defense, where I did a 2-day seminar, recorded it on video, and then put it up for sale. So and then all the stuff involved, all my gadgets and things that are involved in self-defense are tax deductible. So, and then we have a site called Protection Dogs Elite. I have a $50,000 protection dog in there. And I didn't buy it because I did a big seminar for a big protection dog company, and that's how they paid me, with a protection dog. So I said, I love this. So, but it's cost a lot of money to keep the dog trained to a high level, and so it doesn't eat all the neighbors. So I started a protection dog company. And now that all the stuff that takes care of the dogs, all the food and training and all the stuff and all the gadgets you got to have to train a bite dog, So those are 3 examples right there. There's more of them, but that you should get the idea. You can, like, if you're a soccer mom or dad, you could go interview all the soccer coaches in all the schools on how your kids can be better at soccer. And now your travel to all the meets and all the balls and the nets and all the clothes and the cleats and everything. Now you just compile all that stuff that you interviewed into an ebook. And now you got something to sell to people all around the world that have kids that are in soccer. I mean, it's not any kind of rocket science.
So once you've created the thing, right, and we all, maybe if you haven't thought, guys, of what I can create, what is something, there will be people that want to learn it, right? That's why the membership site idea is a big craze right now, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm good at this. There's other people. How do you then get the traffic and the people to see that would buy it? Like, what do you do? Because you can have the best thing, and this is something I think about a lot, is then how do you generate the traffic to get the sale?
Okay. Well, the first thing, and it's the number one episode of the 600 and some episodes, because it's the number one mistake people make when they try to do something online. They get this big idea. I call it a CSI. You ever see that TV show, Crime
Yeah.
Scene Investigation? No.
Yeah.
CSI is crappy, stupid idea. And every idea is crappy and stupid unless you can prove, including my own, until I can prove that it isn't with real numbers. And those numbers, you like numbers, right? Or we talked about numbers, that the numbers come from keyword research. That's why my number one episode of The Biggest Mistake, people don't do the keyword research. They build all this social media and website, but they don't know all the terms that people are searching for that would find their website.
Yeah.
They do it backwards, in other words. So instead of building the website first, you do the keyword research first, and then you build the site to match exactly what people are looking for. And I'll give you a 15-second way right now you can get started on this. You go to Google and you start typing in, let's say, camping or whatever.
Yep.
And before you're done typing CAMP, a bunch of other things come up underneath. All right. These are auto suggestions. Write them down, because they would not be there if thousands and thousands of other people weren't looking for them.
Right.
Now, and if you want to be more accurate, you use what's called an incognito window. Chrome has a window that doesn't track your history, because some of the things, if you've been searching camping, are going to be because they remember you. All right. But we don't want them to remember. We want to know what other people are typing in. So you write them down, and then you scroll to the bottom of the page, and there's a whole other section that says related searches. You write all those down. And you can put those as frequently asked questions on your website. Google loves frequently asked questions.
Yep.
So you can put those, you can make blog postings based on that title. The title is one of the most important places of a blog that keywords need to be put, so that when somebody's searching in Google, it sends out these spiders and it's looking for things.
Yeah.
And so the title is an important part of that article. So if the keywords aren't in the title, it says, it must not be about camping. I'm going to go somewhere else. And there's another place called the title tag, which doesn't even look like it's part of your website. It's clear at the top, the little tab of your browser. If you hold your mouse over it, you'll see a little tooltip come out, and it should have keywords. If it just says Joe Schmo Enterprises every time, that's the kiss of death. Google thinks you're an idiot if you don't take care of that. And it's easy to do nowadays with plugins, they're called, like Yoast or all-in-one SEO pack. A mere mortal can put the words in there properly without touching the code. I don't touch the code because you can bring the whole site down. But with these plugins that are free, you can do this stuff properly, because nobody teaches you this stuff. That's why I bought the website killyourwebdesigner.com. I own that domain name because people are bragging to me about their website when they come to me to join my mentor program. And I say, okay, let me take a look at it. And I'll say, you should have killed your web designer. It looks pretty, but it has no chance on earth of ever being found ever, because they put the same title tag on every page. And when Google says, oh, you think I'm going to give you a high ranking when every page in your site is identical? And so they skip you altogether. You never see the light of day. So there's just hundreds of these little things that the web designer, who was an out-of-work graphic artist yesterday, can make it look nice, but they don't know all this other stuff that makes you successful. So that's just one way, is the proper keywords embedded in all your stuff. So when somebody's looking, you have a chance of being found for free. Another place, Brandon, that's one of the best bargains on earth as a paid traffic is YouTube. I say Google because Google owns YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube in-stream ads. These are the ads where you can click the skip button. Most people don't know, if they click the skip button within 30 seconds, you don't pay anything for the ad. You can get all kinds of branding and stuff. In fact, some of the times we tell people to click the skip button so we don't have to pay if they're not interested. So, for instance, my school has a program of scholarships for military spouses. And so a lot of military spouses get sucked into this stupid MLM stuff
Yep.
and make all their friends mad at Starbucks trying to force them into doing this. So I might say an ad that says, hey, if you're a military spouse and you're happy making your friends mad at Starbucks with your dumb MLM thing, just click the skip button because you don't want to hear what I have to say. But if you're a smart military spouse who wants security for your family, no matter where you get deployed, you might want to listen. All right. So if they're happy with the MLM, click the skip. I don't want to try to twist your arm and you're never going to spend any money with me. Get out of here. But if but then if you get really good at these, Brandon, I get as little as 4 cents per video view with the same keywords that would cost me $1.50 to $5 per click on regular Google search. That's too risky.
Yeah.
But 4 cents, I'll take 4 cents video ads all day long, because somebody's going to buy something, so those are a couple ways, you can just make regular YouTube videos. Don't even have to be paid. And then people will find you if you do the keywords right. See, there's so many things. People throw up a YouTube video and then cross their fingers. Well, you can use hashtags now. There's transcripts. You have to say your keywords in the video because for the last 5 years, YouTube has been using voice recognition to listen to what you say to see if you're worthwhile of putting up on a certain keyword. So I could go on and on for this, but you get the idea. You can drive traffic, but you got to learn how to do it.
And I've been doing YouTube for a while, but then I listened to one of your episodes. I don't know what it was, like 500.
Yes, YouTube hacks or something.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. I didn't even know there was like all of these things that I could do.
That's what happens when you get somebody that does this stuff day and night, for 28 years now. So,
but what I hear is you say like know it at least enough to be able to then hire it out if you want.
Exactly, if necessary, right?
Right. Because I'm sure you don't like go in and do all your keyword research all the time. Now you might have people on your.
Well, no, I'll disagree with you there. I do the keyword research myself, but see, you only do it once and it lasts you for years. I did some 20 years ago that I'm still using today because I sell a lot of public speaking stuff. But the thing is a lot of principals come to me and say, not school principals, the principal of the company.
Yeah.
And they say, yeah, I'll farm that out. No. Like if you're a cosmetic surgeon, how is some $2 an hour person in India going to understand the nuances of related keywords and things that they're never going to know, and you're going to miss all those keywords? You have to be involved yourself at that level.
Yeah.
But once you spend a week doing it part-time, you got this thousands of keywords and keyword phrases. Then now you can put it over to have somebody write content about them and you can just edit it. Yeah. But if you divorce it from the beginning, God help you.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people do is they will outsource that part because it's boring or it's not.
And that's what kills them. And then they say, oh, the internet doesn't work. No, you're too lazy to do what it takes to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that I see this all the time. And as we're growing, even in our ventures and building, it is taking the long game, seeing that, and then creating content that actually people want to engage in. Right.
Exactly. And here's another thing I hear all the time, Brandon. They say, well, why somebody buy this product when all this stuff's for free online? And here's my response. Everything I ever said in my entire life is for free somewhere on the internet.
Yeah.
You pay me to put it in one place for you because you're lazy. All right. So, and that's why people buy books and they buy courses because it's all put in one place for them. And so, and if there's no products on something you're thinking about, there's two things that you could either have hit the lottery and you're going to make all the money on the world in that topic, but chances are it's nobody could make any money in that topic.
Yeah.
And that's why there's no products. So if there's lots of products in a field, that's when you jump in because that proves there's a massive market for it. and you'll
Yeah.
get I call it my pizza shop theory. If you make a good pizza, there's a big demand for pizza in the world, and you'll get your fair share of the business.
Yeah.
So don't jump into something that's so unique that nobody's ever heard of it, because it costs a fortune for you to promote it into the marketplace, and cross your fingers that they actually want it once you do.
Yeah. So let's say somebody's jumping into business ownership, like that's where you help them. What would you say to like learn from you or be a part of your tribe? What would you say to start with? Where would they go? Um,
Okay, well, one thing that I highly recommend to people, if
mhm.
they're not real tech savvy, if they're not millennials or younger,
Yeah.
is to recruit young people to help you. And I call them geeks and propeller heads. And here's the thing: you want the kid that's never going to get a date in his entire life. That's
Yeah.
the kid you want, because he loves the computer, and they're thrilled to death that they're not flipping burgers or cutting grass. They're working with computers and stuff.
Yeah.
And the first kid that I recruited just sold his third startup, and he wrote an article in Forbes attributing his success to me, for starting him into the entrepreneurial field, because he was just going to go get a corporate slug job,
Yeah.
and that was it. Um, he just sold his third startup, which was Pluto.tv. It's kind of like a Hulu, Netflix
Yeah.
kind of place.
So he created that.
He created it.
Wow.
$340 million. He sold it to Viacom. You can look it up online. And he called me from a yacht in Greece with a bunch of supermodels. I said, "Don't you lose all that money in one day?" So yeah. So the way you recruit them is you go to a blue collar high school. All right. Now you can't just go down and say, "Hey, I want some kids."
Yeah.
At least that's what the policeman told me at the station.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. You call up and you ask for the guidance counselor. You ask if they have a computer club or the computer science teacher, because they know who all the little nerds are.
Yeah.
And one lady I had do this, they invited her down to speak to the computer club, and she had 18 kids like the Pied Piper following her out wanting work, because she had all this stuff that she wanted to farm out on graphics and this and that. And these kids, it's great. If you get one of them, they're
Yeah.
like, they all know each other. They're like little roaches running around. They all know, they all know each other. I had the kid that I just told you about wasn't the greatest in graphics, and I
Yeah.
needed some graphics for a big album I was making. He said, "I'll call my buddy up that freelances for the Four Seasons
Yeah.
hotel chain." I think, "No, that's going to cost a fortune." He said, "Shut up." He's a smart little Russian kid. He called his buddy up. His buddy said, "Take a picture of your boss sitting in his desk." The next day, the whole album, all the DVDs are designed, and it was $125. And he told my guy, he says, "I would have charged the Four Seasons $3,000 to $4,000 for this." So it's good to get in with these young people. And then I'm known, one of my nicknames is the King of Kaching, because when an order comes in, my computer goes kaching, kaching, kaching. And so one of my students gave me this nickname. And so I was thinking, I'd love to have the kaching sound as my cell phone ringtone.
Yeah.
But I thought, it'll take me all day to figure that out. It's not worth 8 hours to do that. So one of the girls in the office took the phone away, came back, and it goes kaching when you call me. Do I know how she did it? No. Do I care? No. Does it go kaching? Yes. All right. So these kids can make stuff happen like lightning fast that you would fight with all day. Then you're too tired to create products and work with customers where the money comes. Okay. So
Yeah.
one of the things is recruit a young person to help you. And then with me, so I've got a mentor program where I don't like the word coaching, because every,
Yep.
person on earth that never did a thing in their life wants to be your life coach. So I got a mentor program. It's the longest running ever in the field of internet and digital marketing, most successful, most unique. And it includes an immersion weekend here at the Retreat Center. It's the biggest state in Virginia Beach. And we have a TV studio here where we shoot videos, marketing videos, teach you how to do it also. And it's one-on-one, so you're never lumped in with people more advanced or less advanced than you. So it's really unique and the longest running ever. Plus, you pay an entry fee instead of a big amount of money. Um, the people at my level were charging 50 or 100,000 bucks back when you met Perry Marshall to
Yeah.
teach what they knew. And I knew a lot of these people. Perry is a good guy, but there's a lot of them that aren't. And you'd give them 50 grand, you'd never see him again. Right. So I charged an entry fee, and then I don't get my 50,000 unless you net 200,000. Well, people loved this, and 1,700 plus students later, it's still going strong. And I could have quit I hit multimillionaire status 22 years ago. I could
Yeah.
have quit then, but I'm just a crazy fanatic. And it's good to have a fanatic on your team. I mean, I was helping people on Memorial Day and evenings, weekends, holidays. I'm just love to see entrepreneurs be successful.
Well, I think that's where I can see in your heart, and then also that money back kind of guarantee. Because I've hired people, literally marketing people, excuse me, and they said, I'm going to do this for you, and then you pay them, and then you don't get anything. And I'm like,
Yeah, see, I don't get my big money unless you actually net, not gross, net money. And we both know that you can gross millions of dollars and still be broke, So
yeah. And
yeah,
I think
so,
there's a lot of those, which I think I told you about this. I hate when people are like, I'm a 7 or 8 figure business, and I'm like, how much do you actually take home? That's
I live at my parents' house because I can't afford rent.
yeah. So this is a free mentor checklist, and it's at screwthecommute.com slash what, can you tell me it
Well,
again?
yeah, there's going to be a free ebook on how to automate your business also here. So screwthecommute.com/automate free is where they will go, and they'll be
Automate
able
slash free. So
automate. No, screwthecommute.com/automate free is one word.
oh, maybe I did that wrong. Let me check. Automate free. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's gonna work. There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go. So I left a message for Larry. Hey, there's something wrong with the site, but there really wasn't. So
No.
yeah, so you can download.
Sorry, Larry. Sorry, Larry. You're okay.
Yeah, so you could he's probably all freaking out right now. I can't find it. What's going on? So anyway, this is where this ebook, we estimated it a couple years ago that just one of the tips has saved me 7.5 million keystrokes. See, I want people working with customers and prospects and taking care of people and developing new products and services, not fighting with their computer. I mean,
Right.
it has cell phone tips and all kinds of things. This has allowed me to handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 65,000 customers without pulling my hair out. That's an enormous number of people in correspondence. So if you learn how to use these techniques, I mean, in less than a week, you could implement everything, and it would save you thousands and thousands of hours into the future that could be spent on the money bring. I mean, you're a big cash flow guy, right? You got to
Yeah.
go, and you and your wife both, or you think about cash flow. Well, that's where the money comes from, these taking care of customers, not
Right.
fighting with your computer.
Well, and that's exactly why when you were talking about hiring a young person, we just made an offer to a young girl that's going to help us with some other marketing stuff. And part of it was I was asking her, Instagram and TikTok, and I'm like, I don't even know how to use this crap.
Now,
And
see, that worries me because I've been saying for years you can swing a dead cat and run into a social media expert. I mean,
yeah,
I just took a 14-hour course just on Pinterest. I took an 18-hour course just on Instagram. And then in a couple months, I'll have to do it again because things change like crazy. So you do
well,
have to
she's
be.
going to be helping us write some of, or not write it, but
Mhm.
make it look pretty. And know how to make it, upload it quicker. I need to know how to do some of that. And
Yeah, and you can
maybe,
get automated tools too that'll do it too. But you do have to. One thing that I'll warn you about that's changed, and people are still doing this. They're slopping stuff up there like crazy, but
yep,
there's no engagement.
yep,
See, Brandon, there's a thing called all the social media do what is called a micro test.
yep,
And that means in the first hour, if you don't get engagement, a like, a comment, a share, or a save, then you're just throwing stuff into a black hole. I was just consulting a lady the other day. She's putting 4 posts up a day. Not
Yeah.
one of them even had a like. And so she's just killing herself for absolutely nothing. Nobody is seeing them. So
Yeah.
it's reduce the posting and then beg your friends, beg, borrow, steal, get people to engage with it immediately when you put it out. Make deals with people, beg them, give them
Yeah.
incentives to do it. And then you'll get some traction, but don't over post. It is just worthless to do so nowadays.
Oh, I know, right? So screwthecommute.com/automate
Autom-
free. Go download this, guys. Tell them that we sent you. Love to know. He'd probably love to know that you came from here. And then also, I wanted to share this video. That was the video that he mentioned before about the film, the documentary.
Yeah, this is the trailer to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So go to this Facebook page, if you're on the Facebooks, and American Entrepreneur Film, and right here is the trailer, right? So
yeah, and leave a comment, and I'll personally respond to you. I'd just love to have.
Yeah.
I think I don't know 20,000 people have seen it so far. So
yeah, it's a great trailer. Totally listen to that and watch this documentary, because here's the thing. I think when we're talking about financial freedom, doing what we want to do, I think there's this great resignation that's happening. I think people are thinking that entrepreneurship it's going to be easy, and they're like, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to go get a job, or go do this thing. And they don't realize, as a business owner, especially when you start, like you said in the beginning, the 80 hours, so I don't have to work 40 kind of thing.
right.
At least in the beginning, but also setting up your foundation. We're huge about foundation here, setting up a solid foundation from your finances to your keyword research, right? That is foundational. Once you've done it, you don't have to deal with it again for a while. But that's foundation stuff that, if you've done that, you are going to succeed, and you'll be able to do other things from the people that you've built up, right? That's what I gathered from here. So anything else you want to leave our friends with here?
Well, my goal was to make it too expensive for them to go to work anymore. So,
Right.
You can use your job to finance your side hustle and start building up a digital information business on the side with very low risk. And once you get to the point when you don't even have to exceed your income from work, because with the tax deductions, you're going to net more, even if you just get close to equaling your salary. And then you can decide, take this job and shove it, and then put your more time into your digital product business, which there's no ceiling to it. You don't have to beg people for a raise, and you automatically get a raise by getting out of the car. Because I told Brandon, I told my girlfriend I was going to take her somewhere expensive, and she got all excited and dressed up, and I took her to the gas station. so you save gas, insurance, wear and tear on your car. You have more time to spend with your kids. A lot of people save money with childcare, so there's all kinds of benefits to it. So, but you just don't get crazy about it. You use what you're doing now to help finance your move. It's not like quit cold turkey and be irresponsible.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Building that foundation, and it's just amazing how that builds, and also doing some of the work right in the beginning. And not just say, and this is what I hear all the time, I'm going to create a business and hire a manager to do all things. So that way I don't have to do it, and I'll sit on I'm like, I don't think that's going to work.
Good. Yeah, good. If you're filthy rich and, some type of, you got some type of giant inheritance and you want to blow it quick, do it.
I hear that way too much, right? And I'm like, okay, come back to me in 5 years and see how that goes. But Anything else you want to leave? I know we're running a little long, but anything else you want to leave?
Yeah, I'm just encouraging them to get into the digital information field, and it's a beautiful lifestyle business. It allows you to spend more time with the things you really love doing, and you can even get tax deduction from them.
Yeah.
But I'm just so against the commute, the job, and you're surrounded by people that are low achievers probably, and you can take off and live a life that you want. And another thing is, I never deal with anybody I don't like. If
Yeah.
I don't like you, just take a hike. I don't have to deal with you. It's hard to do that and then the last thing I'll leave you with, if you think you're going to miss the corporate arena, buy yourself a water cooler and put it in your living room, and then stand by it and gossip, and then you'll feel like you're back at the corporate.
I think that's totally it. I am glad I'm done with that lifestyle corporate. I mean, I worked for several banks who literally, I worked for JP Morgan, created their whole system, helped create their system so we can answer any questions. Their Blackberries and Crackberries back in the day.
Right.
And then after we got that all set up, they sent our jobs to India.
Yeah. They just,
I'm like,
goodbye.
Right.
Boom.
See you later. I was like, oh, okay. And just seeing a lot of that happens, and we're just numbers, right? And realizing, hey, we need to be responsible for our own future. No one's gonna take that. Companies, maybe they used to have pensions and they would serve you and help you to a degree. Not anymore.
No, the gold watch is not after 20 years. You're lucky if you make it 20 minutes anymore before some company. And the last thing I'll leave you with is the bank that said, our customers aren't just numbers. We use letters and exclamation points and everything else too. And
I'm going to use that one for sure.
Yeah.
So guys, go check out Tom's blog and his podcast and all of that. Screw the Commute. Go to episode 1. That's going to be that first one that he mentioned.
Keyword research.
The keyword research. Go listen to that one, and then you're going to be downloading all of it, and it's going to help him because he's going to get 600 downloads.
Yeah, and jump on to 130 also, because keyword research has changed because of voice search. People don't search exactly like they type with their voice. So those 2 episodes will give you all you need to know about it.
Yeah. I'm learning by listening, and I was like, oh, wow, YouTube has the transcript thing. I need to do that more. Lots of things. So cool. Thanks for being here, Tom.
My pleasure.
Guys, what I want you guys to do is really break through to a smart, stable financial future, both in your personal life and your business. And this isn't just, financial, but creating the business and life you love. So thanks for being here, and we will catch you next time.
Say hi to Amanda.